Everything. Hey, Croc, man. The great thing about this week, like, we already smoked that Eagles pack. We smoked that Cowboys pack. None of their hosts gets back to us. Dallas radio won't even come on with us no more. They quit the simulcast with us. Who's the saddest this week? Who's the saddest this weekend? Because they all watching. They all hating, too. And they're all rooting for the Packers. Who's the saddest? The Raider fan? Cowboy fan? Is it the Packer fan? Who is it?
I think it's got to be the Dallas Cowboy fan, for sure. You know, the Cowboys, they expected to be advancing. They expected to have an opportunity to play in a conference championship game, let alone a divisional game, and to get bounced out the way they did in the first round by the Green Bay Packers, who did a tremendous job in that game. I think that's got to be tough, and I think they're going to have a sour taste in their mouth while watching this playoff game.
Man, Eric Crocker here on the Boxer Gersa guest line. Look, Jordan Love's playing some really good football. And so let's start with the defense side of the ball. You're a DB here, and they got some young, fast, wide receivers, and that pass rush doesn't get home. It's going to be a very intriguing matchup to see how Lenore and Ward and whether or not Oliver is on the football field, which scares us all in the slot. It gets this young wide receiver core, but they got a lot of talent on that side of the ball, Crocky.
Yeah, a lot of young talent, and it's been cool for me to kind of see how it's played out this year. You know, I always tell everybody, obviously a huge 49er fan, but I'm a football fan first, love football. And, you know, watching those young guys, how they've progressed with their quarterback. Some of them have battled through injuries, but how they've progressively come together as the season come on, and then see it all come together in a postseason game against the Dallas Cowboys where everybody kind of counted them out. That showed a lot. That showed a lot of confidence in what they think their ability is, and really their quarterback, the confidence he has in that young group. I think they have the youngest. Well, first of all, they have the youngest team in the league.
Yep.
They definitely have the youngest set of weapons in the league. No guy has been around for more than 2 years out of that group, whether it's Watson, Reed, the kid out of Nevada, Romeo Dobbs, Musgrave, all these guys, Kraft. So they got some young tight ends there as well.
Yep.
And I think the thing that makes it a lot easier on those guys is a veteran like Aaron Jones being able to come through and do what he did against the Cowboys. So I think for the 49ers, even more so than just, shutting down the receiver corps, is can you stop Aaron Jones and then put the whole game on the back of the young guys?
Who's flying under the radar offensively for the 49ers? Because it feels like all the talk is surrounding Brock Purdy, and they've got so many weapons.
It's got to be Ayuk, right?
Well, I don't know if anybody is flying under the radar now. Ayuk just got second-team All-Pro. They've all been Pro Bowlers. They've all been All-Pro. I think we're gearing up for Christian McCaffrey to be Offensive Player of the Year. So is there a way that anybody's flying under the radar? I'll say this.
Yeah.
It's probably not a weapon. It might be like John Feliciano if he's starting at right guard, or like Spencer Burford. It would have to be like one of those guys flying under the radar. But overall, I think 49ers team, they're cooking, and when they get going, it's going to be extremely difficult, really, to stop any of those guys you named, including you can throw in Jawan Jennings, who's coming back after being out several weeks with a concussion.
You know, what is it that Green Bay did so well against the Dallas Cowboys? We've been asking this question all week long, whether it's Greg Olsen or Baldy. I'm going to ask it to you too, Crocky, because they really befuddled Dak Prescott. CeeDee Lamb was out of sorts. Felt like they took him away from the game. But this offense it feels like the Niners offense presents an entirely different challenge for this Green Bay defense. So what is their strength? Is it the DBs for the Packers and Jair Alexander? Is it their linebackers or defensive line? What can they do to really confuse Brock Purdy this Saturday?
I don't know about confusing Brock Purdy, but I'll tell you what can't happen, and it's really what happened to the Dallas Cowboys. You let the Green Bay Packers drive down the field, score a touchdown. Boom. Now they got confidence, right? Because this is a young team on the road. They took the coin toss, so they're like, man, we're just going to go down. We're going to take our destiny into our own hands, and we'll see what happens. They drive down the field. They score a touchdown on their first drive. Then the next drive, you have a receiver, Brandon Cooks. Shout out Brandon Cooks, 209, Stockton, California. But Brandon Cooks gets punked, and we'll get punked in Stockton. But he got punked for the spot by Jair Alexander, who's a great cornerback. And you get the interception setting up a short field, and then Green Bay goes and scores again. That right there, more than anything else, that can't happen. Because we have seen the 49ers have tried to play from behind, especially like that. You're playing against a team that is playing with a lot of confidence. You cannot go down 2 scores. And the way they went down 2 scores is something I could see happening to a team. So you can't let that happen. I think that's the biggest thing with how the Dallas Cowboys game played out. Once you got in that situation, offense starts to press a little bit. Now you got to be a little bit more perfect. And they weren't perfect. And then it was a snowball effect from there.
How does the rain or a wet muddy field condition. How does that affect the playmakers on the outside? How does that affect the run game? How does that affect the passing rush?
Well, it actually favors the offense because you know where you're going, right? So if their footing starts to get a little slippery and whatnot, Brandon Ayuk knows where he's going. Defensive backs, we got to react to everything. So I think that part favors the offense. I'd say as a whole, I think I don't know if it favors one team, but it definitely starts to even the playing field depending on how wet it is. Now, a couple years ago, I was in Chicago for the 49ers Chicago game where we thought 49ers just steamrolled them and run away. And not only did it, become a game, but 49ers lost that game, right? And the conditions were so bad that it can kind of be the equalizer on the first drive. 49ers moving the ball very well, driving down the field. Next, Deebo Samuel gets hit. Kind of funny. Ball just squirts out, fumbles in an opportunity to score. Like just things like that. Maybe a ball slipping out of a guy's hand. So weird things tend to happen more when the elements are that way. Hopefully it's more of a light kind of sprinkle, and I don't think that would affect the 49ers at all, especially a team that wants to really run to get things going. So from that standpoint, you'll be fine. But as long as it's not too bad to where it really kind of derails the game.
Eric Crocker, Locked On 49ers podcast, Crocky209 on Twitter, does a great job covering the game of football. He loves it. Of course, he's on the Boxer and Gerson guest line here. This postseason run, because Shazka and I have been talking about the journey here. When we started in training camp outside in Claire in late July, it's all about this season. It's all about Super Bowl or bust. It's all about getting back to the playoffs, getting back to that spot, and doing something that they couldn't do last year or, heck, the last couple of years, and that's win that Super Bowl ring. So during this Super Bowl run, during this postseason, who's it more about? Is it more about Kyle Shanahan or is it more about Brock Purdy?
No, I think it is about Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy, to this point, has done an amazing job with everything he's been asked to do and some. The one time we've seen the 49ers kind of slip up, it's when it's a situation where it gets a little tight, and then all of a sudden you see kind of like this snowball of turnovers from Brock Purdy. Now, whether it's Brock Purdy's fault, because we can go to the Vikings game where, one, he was likely concussed at the end of that game. Two, there was a time where it's like, did Juwan Jennings run the route how he was supposed to run? And the result of it ended up being an interception, right? So, but the fact of the matter is it happened, right? It happened in that game. It happened in the Cincinnati Bengals game where there were 2 interceptions in the second half. And then a third interception that they called back because of the roughing the passer. And then, like, the next play, he fumbled the ball away, right? So, again, turnovers. That was kind of, Brock Purdy, we need you to get us out of this lull that we're in. And it's like, we turn the rock over. Then you go to the Baltimore game where the way it kind of played out, you turn the ball over 3 times in the first half and you're down 4 points at halftime. That's going to win for the team, but still the 49ers, the turnovers, trying to overcome that, with opportunities to score touchdowns early in that game, you throw a pick. I think it is more about Brock just taking care of the ball. And if he does that, I don't think that most of these games will be close. And that's no disrespect to any of these teams out there, but the 49ers, they are a high-powered offense. They are a great team really on both sides of the ball. As long as you don't do anything to lose the game, they'll be fine. So I think that's the biggest thing there, and I think that is right there, square on the shoulders of Brock Purdy. Just making sure you take care of the rock.
All right, so then give me your score prediction. Give me your game winner. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like doing that, but if you feel comfortable, give it to us.
Well, I already did it on Locked On 49ers. You guys can catch me there 5 days a week with my co-host Brian Peacock. I said 31-20, and that's showing respect to a young core group there that I feel like will make some things happen. I love the way that Jordan Love has been playing. I love how they brought him along, a guy who, people try to write him off after one start last year against Kansas City. And then this year, by preseason and training camp, they were like, oh, no, he's done. And he went through some ups and downs this year, 3 straight losses at one point, had some bad losses, but you continue to watch him and how he's kind of grown into the player now where people are like, oh, one of the best quarterbacks in the playoffs right now. They might continue to kind of get a little ahead of themselves and say, hey, next year he's going to be a top 7 quarterback in the league. And I don't know about all that, but I do know he's playing very well, so it's fun to watch. I have a ton of respect for those guys over there. But just the way the 49ers are built, and once they get on top of you, how they just keep pouring it on you, it's just a tough team to beat. So I got the 49ers, as long as they don't turn that rock over. Right. And I know, again, some teams, the whole thing is, you can't lose the turnover battle. But with the 49ers, if they don't turn over, they will win.
Right.
Like, there are teams that they can not turn the rock over and still lose the game. 49ers don't turn over, they will win. So I think they'll limit the turnovers. You're coming to this game, I got 31-20 49ers.
All right, so if the Niners win, because we all have the Niners winning, we're not picking against them, no doubt about it, and I think they will win. I think they'll run the ball down Green Bay's throat as well with Christian McCaffrey. Who are they going to be playing? Who are they hosting for the NFC title game?
Oh, man. The NFC has been really weird. So what do we have over there? The Lions and the
Tampa Bay.
Buccaneers?
Yeah, it's a tough game. Tampa's playing some good ball, Crocky. They're up. I like their defense, but can you really count on Baker in that dome against a red-hot Lions team in front of that fan base? I don't know.
I picked against Detroit last week. I won't pick against them again. I got them winning at home.
All right, Lions, Niners, NFC title game. Should be a fun game. Crocker, when you coming out here, man?
I don't know. I've been saying all year I was going to come to some games, and this might be the first time in several years I haven't been to a 49er game. And I would have liked to go to this game. Shout out to my guy, LaVille Hawkins. He has some tickets for me, but Coach is 7-on-7, so I'll be in Southern California during that time.
We'll see you in Vegas for the Super Bowl.
Yes,
how about that?
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll be there.
There it is. Croc, thanks very much for the time, man. We'll be catching up with you soon.
All right, thanks for having me on.
Locked On 49ers podcast. Check him out with Brian Peacock, our buddy Brian Peacock. Crocky209 on Twitter. Eric Crocker. Locked On 49ers podcast, courtesy of the Boxer Girls and Guest Line. Yeah.